this is bobbylee picks out Zac Efron and John Cena. This was
Alright, so in the most recent episode of Bad Friends, they had on John Cena and Zac Efron, and this had to be one of the most chaotic and awkward episodes of all time because of Bob.
what this comment saying, let's have two of the biggest celebrities in the world and give them one mic to share. They have limited budget or something.
Of course. I mean, you could tell he's really nervous, and he's pretty much spazzing out the whole time. And Santino had to expect this. I mean, having Bobby on a podcast with two big-time Hollywood actors and their publicists all in the room, of course, Bobby is going to lose it. So John and Zac are on the podcast to promote this movie they're in with Andrew Santino. And there's also this other actor there who's in the movie, Jermaine Fowler, and he's obviously not as well known as Zac and John. And Bobby brings that up like right away.
What is that Goopy movie?
By accident, he's doing an intro and he's like, so we have two big stars here and this guy I used to do comedy with, and you could tell right in the beginning and basically throughout the whole podcast, John and Zac are like, what did I get myself into here? Which I think Santino probably figured this was how it was going to go and they'd be really uncomfortable the whole time, and that's why he's mostly just laughing at it. Some of the comments are pointing out how he's trying to play it cool and trying to act normal, which he definitely is, but also at the same time, if he wanted to play it cool,
the classic comments,
and play it safe, he wouldn't have had Bobby on the podcast, or he wouldn't have done this podcast, because I can't imagine Bobby was dying to do this. I could be wrong though, because he does have a thing for Zac Efron, and I think that's a big reason why he's really nervous here. And some people thought this podcast was just too much, like it's just hard to listen to.
Episode was just awful, man. I guess bobbylee is doing a bad job at this.
To turn it off, but then some people thought it was like a train wreck you can't look away from. And it starts right in the beginning when Santino tells Bobby to do the intro, which he had to know Bobby would screw up. That's probably why he told him to do it. And Bobby didn't remember the name of the movie, and then he mentions how there's two big stars there and leaves out the other guy. And then also, just to add to the chaos, they only have 4 mics there, so John and Andrew have to keep passing a mic back and forth, and a lot of the comments are pointing that out. They're like, how's this one of the most popular podcasts and they have on 2 massive celebrities?
They don't have at least 2 mics, bro.
For them. But also they weren't in their normal studio. I think what was going on here is this was a press event, and in between the media coming in, they decided to try to do a podcast.
I want you to introduce our guest the proper way.
What?
Yeah, so you guys split. There's only 2 and 2.
We have Zac Efron, John Cena, Jermaine Fowler, Andrew Santino, and they're in a new movie called Ricky Smiles.
Ricky Smiles is our new movie.
And he does smile a lot in the movie. Remember the movie Smile?
I do. I've seen it.
My friend's in it.
Yeah. We're in a movie called Ricky Stenicki. Ricky Smiles.
Ricky Stenicki.
So do another introduction.
Yeah, welcome to the Bad Friends podcast. We're with 2 very big stars. One comic I've known for very years. I don't even know.
He's a star?
I know he is, but you're not them.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He's not them. And John and I go way back. We did Mad TV together like a couple of seasons. He punched me, slapped my stomach in a sketch.
He's just talking, that's it.
Okay, so John, he wants to know. He was scared and nervous. He's nervous now.
Yeah, so it gets off to a rough start, and Bobby, it seems like, shakes the nerves a little bit after this, but then he just keeps making things as uncomfortable as possible. But some of the comments on this podcast are hilarious.
Somebody's just wobbling in there,
like POV, you introduce your 3 normal adjusted adult friends to your one weird gremlin friend you've known your whole life. And I don't think they ever really have a normal conversation during this podcast. Like the whole time it's Bobby flipping out and yelling and stuff, and Zac and John barely say anything. Zac I don't think says anything until like 6 minutes into the podcast, which I don't mind. I'd rather see this than just a normal podcast with John Cena and Zac Efron. If this were just a normal interview and they're asking him basic questions and everything, it would suck. But the fact that Bobby Lee's flipping out and making them really uncomfortable makes it way more entertaining, which I'm sure was Andrew Santino's thought process as well. Because this podcast is going to get way more attention than if it were just a normal podcast, obviously. I mean, there are a couple moments where you could see how uncomfortable
he's John Cena, so
Zac Efron
he's going to get attention no matter what.
And Santino probably just thought it was hilarious. Like a couple minutes after the intro, they play this game where Bobby just names a movie and then they name an actor in it, and then whoever gets to 3 names gets to hug Bobby for 10 seconds. And when Bobby mentions this, that the winner's gonna get a hug from him, he says, don't worry though, it's nothing sexual. It's gonna be more like the kind of hug a son gives his father when he comes home from war. So then Zac Efron wins the game, and they decide to act this out, like act out
YouTube comments, bro.
Son coming home from war, hugging his father, and Bobby gets in character.
Okay. You're the dad. I'm your Korean. I was adopted. Obviously, I was adopted.
No. What if his wife was Korean?
I don't look half Asian.
Yeah, you do. You look full Asian, but there. No, that's half. Look at that. There's a guy from Tennessee. There's a guy from Tennessee.
How you doing, man?
There he is.
How you doing, man?
All right.
Hey, man.
And everybody's reaction to this makes it even better. Jermaine Fowler, he's laughing like crazy. He thinks it's hilarious. Zac Efron, he's kind of laughing.
John Cena doesn't care, bro.
But he probably thinks,
he doesn't want to be there.
I'd be laughing at this. And then John Cena, he's just like, I'm drinking my water. I have nothing to do with this. And then they do eventually act it out. And Zac Efron, you could see him look over at the camera and he's like, what the hell's going on? And then he eventually hugs Bobby. And then you could see him look at Andrew Santino and he makes his face. And I'm pretty sure he mouths, what the fuck, or something like that. But then he does give Bobby a kiss on the head. So I think he keeps going back and forth between like trying to be a good sport about
they're actors, so you can just
and playing into it, and then just being like, all right, this is too much for me.
How was the war?
analyze too much.
It was terrible.
Was it?
That's all kinds of things, Dad.
What have you been wanting more than anything?
Oh, from your daddy.
Well,
Get a hug from your daddy.
You're back.
Count the seconds. Yeah.
Oh, son, I'm so happy you're back.
1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000,
multicam audience?
4 1,000, 5 1, or is it not 1,000? It's like it's Oklahoma. 1 Mississippi.
And then they play another
That's the way to Mississippi.
game where they guess Bobby's weight or something like that, and Zac Efron wins again, and his prize is to hug Bobby Lee again. And when he stands up, it looks like he almost does a hand motion to be like, I'm done with this. But then he does get over there and hug him, and he makes a face again to Santino. But Santino, he loves it. He loves how uncomfortable Zac is.
Body language expert.
Zach did?
Bruh.
And you know what you get, Zach? Another 10-second hug! Another hug! Another hug. He's home from the war again. Oh my God. Another war. Vietnam. Oh, Dad.
He loves our
One
country.
Texas.
And then also at one point, Santino asked Bobby what his favorite part of their movie is. And he's like, you saw the trailer, right? And Bobby's like, no, I didn't watch it because I would have been too jealous.
In the movie, you saw the trailer?
I never saw it.
Okay, good.
Well, it's because of jealousy.
And then also he keeps getting things about the movie wrong, like when it comes out and what platform it's on, and like the name in the beginning. He might have been doing that on purpose, possibly,
It's like Bakasha on Adam Sandler.
because he keeps kind of making fun of it. Like he also mentions how it's being released on Amazon Prime, and he's like, really, you guys are starring in it, and it's coming out on Amazon Prime. Like you really couldn't get it in theaters. So I think he might be kind of bitter about not being in it. You know, it's hard to tell with him because sometimes he's doing shtick and he's just trying to be weird and trying to make things awkward. Like he's definitely playing into that here, but I think there might be some
He's definitely jealous for sure.
truth to it. You know, he asks them why he wasn't in the movie, which of course is gonna be awkward. And John Cena's like, well, that's above my pay grade. And then they start trying to think of roles that he could have played in the movie. And eventually Bobby's like, I know what you guys are trying to do. And listen, I'm cool. I wanted to be in the movie, but it's fine. And then he just starts flipping out and saying F you to everybody. And he's like, don't worry, I'm joking. I love you guys. And Zach's just like, all right, as long as you're good, dude.
John, why was I not in the movie?
That's an honest question. My answer is those choices are way above my pay grade.
That's the political one.
That's the genuine one.
I know what you're trying to do right now. I know what you're trying to do right now.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
What did I do?
I want to let you guys know right now, okay? I wish I was in the movie, but I'm okay. And I got other things as well, and I'm okay with my life. So I know what you guys are trying to do, and you know what I mean?
Hey, no, hey, hey,
Whoa, too much. Too much. You said you were fine. Fuck you.
Hey.
A piece of shit. Okay, I love you.
As long as you're good, man.
I'm good, Zach. Yeah.
And I think maybe he's just a giant Zac Efron fan and really wanted to work with him or something. You know, maybe in the beginning when I said that this was Andrew's idea and Bobby didn't really want to do it, maybe he did want to do it because he really wanted to meet Zac Efron. Because also at the end, Santino brings up how Bobby has some questions he really wanted to ask. And Santino's like, all right, here's your one-on-one time. You're begging me for this. You know, you're really nervous about it. You're pacing around back and forth all day. You know, here's your moment. And first he asks John Cena a question, and he obviously just makes up some random question. And then he moves on to Zac Efron and gets really nervous. And he's like, all right, let me just say something. I'm into women. You know, I like women.
Can I say something? Sure. You know, I like women. That's good.
What's that? Do you want me to tell the guys what you said before we started?
No, I don't want to do that.
Okay,
But what I'm
that's
going to say is that I like women.
That's fine.
Yeah, so little.
I'm just saying that, you know, I was wondering if Zac Efron is as handsome as in real life.
Oh, so you're saying, in case you might not be into women, would Zach...
I'm 100% into women.
It's fine if you're not.
And then Bobby starts talking about how much he loves Zach's eyes. And, you know, it sounds like before this
He's just a bit after bit, bro.
podcast, Bobby told Andrew that he might try to ask Zac Efron out to eat sometime. And, you know, if he's trying not to make it seem sexual, he's doing a terrible job at it. And I don't know if it's because he's really nervous or he's just being awkward and weird, or he is just actually attracted to Zac Efron. And honestly, that sounds like the most likely answer. You know, because if you're going to ask
Just read between the lines.
a
Come
guy out
on,
to eat,
man.
it's probably not best to preface that with, you know, I'm into women, I like women, but I always wondered how handsome you were in real life, and I really like your eyes are amazing. And then eventually Santino brings up how Bobby wants to go out to eat with him.
The question you wanted to ask. Hey, Bobby wants to know if you'd ever be interested in any sort of world if you'd go to a dinner date with him.
I never said that. I don't even answer that. That's ridiculous.
One-on-one.
I'm never going to see you again.
Date with him. It's platonic.
I'm never going to see him again.
It's platonic.
Yeah.
It's a friend. Do you want to go?
Well, we could do a group thing one
No,
day.
you one-on-one.
I'm not doing one-on-one. Back to man.
Ask
Fuck
him.
you.
Ask him.
We want to go on a date?
Bottom of my heart, I'd love to.
Okay,
I
that'd be
would
said.
love
Thank you.
to.
Wasn't that hard?
Easy then.
Yeah, so hopefully Bobby gets the date, but it's not looking like it. You know, I feel like Zach kind of said that just to be a good sport about it. But, you know, Bobby went for it. You know, I give him credit for trying. And at least he got to hug Zac Efron for like 15 seconds. So that's something. And he couldn't have expected much from this. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about it all. And then make sure you check out my Patreon
Yeah,
account.
that's very good video, I guess.